And the second thing is that you use limited travel restrictions. The travel restrictions limit non-essential travel.
Okay.
Now, the more we are at zero, the closer we are to zero, the more we have security in zero, the less we need restrictions altogether. But as we get to zero, there are going to be some places that have no cases and some places that have cases. So if we want to open quickly, we want to free up the places that have no cases and let them open up. So we want to make zones, and these could be states in Germany, they could be little villages in Germany, right? There could be whatever is the natural partition. As soon as there's an area that gets to zero, you protect it using non-essential travel restrictions, and you can open it up so the economy can open up very quickly. So instead of opening up the economy by sector, you say we'll open up the schools first or the bars first or whatever it is that people care about, right? Instead of that, you open up a certain area.
Okay.
And you open up the areas. As the areas open up, then you open up the travel between them.
Okay.
And this can go very fast. It doesn't take very long. Again, a few weeks, but the advantage is that you relax the restrictions on the economy. And so you have social activity and economic activity. So in Australia, for example, one state had an outbreak, but the other states were normal behavior. You had, in that state, you had a time where the core of the city was still having cases. So there were restrictions there, but most of the state didn't have any restrictions. Now, how to do the travel restrictions, now we have to talk a little bit more detail. And part of the answer is that you say, well, we will limit travel to essential travel. And again, all of these restrictions are only on the order of weeks. This is very important. It's not a long time. So you limit the non-essential travel, and then the essential travel, you make it safer. If people are commuters, you give them instructions about, taking precautions. And you decide how much risk you can take and how much you need to allow people to travel. And all of that can be done based upon the ability of people to be protective of not making transmission, and how essential, right? This is essential travel. How essential is the travel? As you do this more effectively, the area that is protected gets larger and larger. So you start by having maybe a village here and a village there, and then you have a state here and a state there, and then you have a country here and a country there, and then you open up the countries. So having a European collaboration to do that would enable all of Europe to get to the same state if everyone is willing to engage in this, and there's no harm. There's only benefit. So if all of Europe, then, maybe then you have to keep restrictions on travel from Europe to other places. But that's, of course, much less problematic than having restrictions from Germany to Belgium. And that's much less problematic than having restrictions between villages or towns within Germany. So that's how you solve the problem
I think that's
using the travel restrictions.